Every week, millions of Americans spray poison on plants worth more than the medications they're buying at the pharmacy. The average family spends $3,000 per year on pills, liver supplements, antihistamines, pain relievers, skin creams. That same family spends $200 per year on herbicides to kill the plants that could replace those medications. Let me say that differently. You're paying to destroy free medicine while paying more for the pharmacy version of the same compounds. The plants pharmaceutical companies studied to create those pills are growing in your backyard right now. Same active compounds, same relief, except they're free and reseed themselves every year. 9 weeds within walking distance of your home contain ingredients identical to what's in your medicine cabinet. Tonight, I'm revealing exactly which weeds replace which pharmacy products. Number 1, dandelion. If you learn only one medicinal weed, make it dandelion. This bright yellow flower that most people poison with herbicides is actually one of nature's most complete medicines. Here's what dandelion replaces in your pharmacy: liver support supplements. Dandelion root has been used for centuries to support liver function and bile production. Modern research confirms it contains compounds that help the liver process toxins more efficiently. When liver support supplements disappear from shelves, dandelion root tea becomes your alternative. Diuretics. Dandelion leaf is a natural diuretic, meaning it helps your body eliminate excess fluid without depleting potassium like pharmaceutical diuretics do. The French actually call it pissenlit, which literally translates to wet the bed because of how effectively it works. Digestive bitters. Before every meal, people used to consume bitter herbs to stimulate digestion. Dandelion root is one of the most effective digestive bitters available, helping your body produce stomach acid and digestive enzymes naturally. The entire plant is usable. Roots are dug in fall for maximum potency, dried, and made into tea or tincture. Leaves are harvested anytime and eaten fresh in salads or dried for tea. Even the flowers can be made into wine or infused oil. Nutritional content rivals any multivitamin. Dandelion greens contain more vitamin A than carrots, more calcium than milk, and significant amounts of iron, potassium, and vitamin C. When supplements vanish, dandelion provides foundational nutrition. Preparation couldn't be simpler. For liver support, simmer 1 tablespoon of dried root into cups water for 20 minutes. Strain and drink. For diuretic effects, steep fresh or dried leaves in hot water for 10 minutes. Consume up to 3 cups daily. Every lawn in America contains free medicine that people pay money to destroy. When pharmacies empty, dandelion becomes survival currency. Number TWO, plantain broadleaf. Broadleaf plantain grows in virtually every lawn, sidewalk crack, and disturbed soil across North America. And it's quite possibly the most important first aid plant you'll ever learn. This is what plantain replaces in your first aid kit: antibiotic ointment. Plantain contains allantoin and aucubin, compounds with proven antibacterial properties. Applied to cuts, scrapes, and wounds, plantain helps prevent infection naturally. When neosporin disappears, plantain steps in: anti-itch cream. Bee stings, mosquito bites, poison ivy, and general skin irritation respond remarkably well to plantain. The mucilage content soothes inflammation, while the antibacterial compounds prevent secondary infection. Drawing salve, splinters, boils, and embedded debris can be drawn to the surface using plantain poultices. The plant literally pulls foreign material out of wounds, a property herbalists call drawing. Here's the emergency field application your grandparents knew. Chew a fresh plantain leaf until it becomes a wet, green paste. Apply directly to the wound, sting, or bite. Cover with a bandage or second leaf. Replace every few hours. This simple technique has stopped pain and prevented infection for thousands of years. For more serious preparation, make plantain salve. Infuse dried plantain leaves in olive oil for 4 to 6 weeks. Strain and combine with beeswax. Store in tins for years of shelf-stable first aid medicine. Identification is foolproof. Plantain has oval leaves with prominent parallel veins running from base to tip. It grows in a rosette pattern flat against the ground. Flower stalks shoot up with tiny greenish flowers. It grows everywhere humans walk. When pharmacy shelves empty and first aid supplies vanish, plantain becomes the most valuable plant in your yard. Learn to identify it tonight. Your future self will thank you. Number THREE, yarrow. Yarrow earned its scientific name, Achillea millefolium, because legend says Achilles used it to treat wounded soldiers during the Trojan War. That legend isn't exaggeration. Yarrow is one of the most powerful wound healing plants known to herbalism. Here's what yarrow replaces when medical supplies run out. Styptic powder. Yarrow contains acylane, a compound that promotes blood clotting. Applied to cuts and wounds, it stops bleeding fast. When quicklot and styptic pencils disappear, yarrow becomes your clotting agent, fever reducers. Yarrow is a diaphoretic, meaning it promotes sweating and helps break fevers naturally. When acetaminophen and ibuprofen vanish from shelves, yarrow tea becomes your fever management tool. Antiseptic wound wash. The same compounds that stop bleeding also fight bacteria. Yarrow-infused water cleans wounds while simultaneously promoting clotting and preventing infection. The battlefield application is simple and brutal. Fresh yarrow leaves, crushed and packed directly into a bleeding wound, can slow or stop blood flow within minutes. This isn't folk medicine speculation. Military herbalists throughout history relied on yarrow for exactly this purpose. The common names soldiers, woundwort, and staunch wheat exist for documented reasons. For fever reduction, steep 2 teaspoons of dried yarrow flowers and leaves in 1 cup boiling water for 15 minutes. Drink hot, get under blankets, sweat will come and fever will break naturally. Identification requires attention to detail. Yarrow has feathery, finely divided leaves that look almost fern-like. White or sometimes pink flower clusters appear in flat-topped groups. The plant typically grows 1 to 3 feet tall in fields, roadsides, and disturbed areas. When trauma occurs and medical help isn't coming, yarrow becomes the difference between controlled bleeding and dangerous blood loss. Find it, learn it, and remember where it grows near your home. Number FOU or stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is one of the most nutritionally dense and medicinally valuable plants on the planet, and it grows as an aggressive weed across most of North America. Here's what stinging nettle replaces in your medicine cabinet. Antihistamines. Nettle contains compounds that block histamine receptors naturally. For seasonal allergies, nettle tea or capsules can reduce sneezing, congestion, and itchy eyes without the drowsiness of pharmaceutical antihistamines. Iron supplements. Nettle leaves contain more iron than spinach, plus the vitamin C needed for iron absorption. When iron supplements disappear, nettle becomes your anemia prevention strategy. Multivitamins. Nettle contains calcium, magnesium, potassium, vitamins C and K, plus protein. It's essentially a wild multivitamin growing free in disturbed soil, forest edges, and stream banks. The nutritional density is staggering. Dried nettle leaf contains up to 25% protein by weight. That's higher than most beans. In a food crisis where protein becomes scarce, nettle fills nutritional gaps that other plants cannot. Harvesting requires respect for the sting. Wear gloves. Harvest young leaves in spring before flowering. The sting disappears completely with drying or cooking. Steamed nettle tastes similar to spinach. Dried nettle makes excellent tea. The sting cannot hurt you once the plant is processed. For allergy relief, begin drinking nettle tea several weeks before allergy season starts. 2 to 3 cups daily. The preventive effect builds over time and reduces symptoms throughout the season. Identification is straightforward once you've been stung once. Nettle has opposite, serrated leaves covered with tiny hollow hairs that inject formic acid on contact. Plants grow 2 to 6 feet tall in dense patches, usually in moist, nitrogen-rich soil. When antihistamines vanish and allergies rage, nettle becomes your respiratory salvation. The plant that stings you also heals you. Number FIVE chickweed, that delicate, sprawling plant taking over shady corners of your garden isn't a nuisance. It's a versatile medicine that addresses conditions ranging from skin irritation to digestive distress. Here's what chickweed replaces when pharmacy options disappear. Anti-itch cream and eczema treatments. Chickweed has cooling, anti-inflammatory properties that soothe irritated skin remarkably well. Eczema, psoriasis, rashes, and general itching respond to chickweed applications. Minor pain relievers. Chickweed contains compounds similar to aspirin that provide mild pain relief, particularly for inflammatory conditions. Digestive soothers. Internally, chickweed acts as a mild demulcent, coating and soothing irritated digestive tracts. When antacids disappear, chickweed tea calms upset stomachs. The skin applications are where chickweed truly shines. Fresh chickweed, crushed and applied directly to itchy or inflamed skin, provides almost immediate cooling relief. For longer-term treatment, infuse chickweed in olive oil for several weeks, strain and apply as needed. Or make a proper salve by adding beeswax to the infused oil. For internal use, steep fresh or dried chickweed in hot water for 10 minutes. Drink as needed for digestive soothing or mild inflammation reduction. Identification requires attention to small details. Chickweed has small, oval leaves arranged in opposite pairs along weak, sprawling stems. Tiny white flowers with deeply notched petals appear throughout the growing season. A single line of fine hairs runs along the stem, switching sides at each leaf node. This hair pattern is the definitive identification feature. Chickweed grows in cool, moist conditions and often appears in early spring and late fall when other plants struggle. It frequently takes over garden beds in shaded areas. When skin conditions flare and pharmacy creams vanish, chickweed becomes your external medicine of choice. Gentle enough for children, effective enough for adults. Number six. Purslane. Most gardeners rip this succulent weed from their vegetable beds without realizing they are throwing away one of the most nutritious plants on earth. Purslane contains something almost no other land plant provides: significant omega-3 fatty acids. Here's what purslane replaces when supplements disappear. Omega-3 supplements. Purslane contains the highest levels of alpha-linolenic acid and omega-3 fatty acid of any leafy vegetable ever tested. When fish oil capsules vanish, purslane becomes your omega-3 source. Vitamin supplements. Purslane provides vitamins C and E, plus significant minerals including magnesium, potassium, and calcium. It's a multivitamin growing in garden beds everywhere. Anti-inflammatory supplements. The omega-3 content plus antioxidant compounds give purslane natural anti-inflammatory properties. Joint pain, general inflammation, and recovery from injury all benefit from regular purslane consumption. The omega-3 content deserves special emphasis. Plant-based omega-3 south are extremely rare. Most omega-3 supplements come from fish, which require cold storage and have limited shelf life. Purslane provides the same essential fatty acid from a plant you can grow, harvest, and eat fresh indefinitely. In a long-term crisis where fish oil becomes unavailable, purslane fills that nutritional gap. Eating purslane is simple. Leaves and stems are both edible raw or cooked. Add to salads for a slightly sour, lemony crunch. Salt with garlic as a side dish. Blend into smoothies. Pickle for long-term storage. The succulent texture works well in almost any preparation. Identification is easy once you know what you're looking for. Purslane has thick, succulent stems with fleshy, paddle-shaped leaves. Stems are often reddish. Small yellow flowers appear throughout summer. It grows flat against the ground and thrives in hot, dry conditions where other plants struggle. When supplement shelves empty and omega-3 deficiency threatens health, purslane becomes nutritional gold growing free in disturbed soil. Number 7. Burdock. Those annoying burrs that stick to your clothes and your dog as fur come from one of the most powerful detoxification plants known to herbalism. Burdock root has been used for centuries as a blood purifier and liver support, and modern research validates many traditional uses. Here's what burdock replaces in your supplement cabinet. Liver detox supplements. Burdock root supports liver function by increasing bile production and helping the liver process toxins more efficiently. When liver support supplements disappear, burdock root becomes your detoxification tool, blood purifier tonics. Traditional herbalists described burdock as a blood cleanser, and while modern science uses different terminology, the effects are similar. Burdock helps the body's elimination systems work more efficiently. Skin condition treatments. Acne, eczema, and psoriasis have all been traditionally treated with burdock, both internally and externally. The detoxification support translates to clearer skin over time. The root is the primary medicine. Harvest burdock roots in fall of the first year or spring of the second year before the plant flowers. Roots can grow several feet deep, so digging requires effort. Slice fresh root for stir-fries or dry for tea and tincture. Burdock root tea requires simmering, not steeping, to extract the medicinal compounds properly. For internal use, simmer 1 tablespoon of dried root into cups water for 20 minutes. Drink 1 to 2 cups daily for general detoxification support. Continue for several weeks to see skin improvements. Identification focuses on the distinctive leaves and burrs. First-year plants have enormous, hard-shaped leaves that can exceed a foot in length. Second-year plants send up flower stalks that produce the characteristic sticky burrs. Look for burdock along roadsides, in disturbed soil, and at the edges of fields. When detox supplements vanish and skin conditions worsen, burdock becomes your internal cleaning system. Number 8. Mullein. That tall plant with the fuzzy leaves growing along roadsides and in abandoned lots is one of the most effective respiratory remedies in the plant kingdom. Mullein has been used for lung conditions for thousands of years, and it remains relevant today. Here's what mullein replaces when cold and flu supplies disappear. Cough suppressants and expectorants. Mullein works both ways depending on what your body needs. It thins mucus to make coughs more productive while simultaneously soothing irritated airways to reduce coughing fits. Respiratory support supplements, chronic lung conditions, seasonal congestion, and general respiratory weakness all respond to mullein. When respiratory supplements vanish, mullein tea becomes your lung support. Ear infection drops. Mullein flower oil has been traditionally used to treat ear infections. The anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties help resolve infections naturally. The respiratory benefits deserve detailed explanation. Mullein contains mucilage, a gel-like substance that coats and soothes irritated mucous membranes. It also contains saponins that help thin and expel mucus. This combination makes mullein effective for dry, irritating coughs and wet, congested coughs alike. It adapts to what your respiratory system needs. For respiratory support, steep 2 teaspoons of dried mullein leaf in 1 cup boiling water for 15 minutes. Strain carefully through fine cloth to remove the tiny hairs. Drink 3 to 4 cups daily during respiratory illness. Mullein flower oil requires collecting flowers at their peak, infusing in olive oil for several weeks, and straining. A few drops in the affected ear can help resolve infections naturally. Identification is unmistakable. First-year plants form a rosette of large, fuzzy, gray-green leaves. Second-year plants send up tall flower stalks, sometimes exceeding 6 feet, covered with yellow flowers. The entire plant feels velvety soft due to dense hair coverage. When cough medicine vanishes and respiratory illness strikes, mullein becomes your lung ally. Number 9. Red clover. Those pink-purple flower heads growing in lawns and meadows aren't just pretty. They're powerful medicine, particularly for women's health issues and general wellness support. Here's what red clover replaces when supplements disappear: menopause support supplements. Red clover contains isoflavones, plant compounds that mimic estrogen gently. Hot flashes, night sweats, and other menopause symptoms respond to regular red clover consumption. Hormone balance supplements. Beyond menopause, red clover supports general hormonal health throughout a woman's life. When hormone support supplements vanish, red clover provides natural phytoestrogen support. Respiratory soothers. Red clover has traditional use for coughs and respiratory congestion. The flowers contain compounds that help clear airways and soothe irritation, blood purifier. Like burdock, red clover has historical use as a blood cleanser and lymphatic support. It helps the body's detoxification systems function optimally. The isoflavone content matters most for women's health. Isoflavones are plant compounds structurally similar to human estrogen, but much weaker. They can bind to estrogen receptors and provide gentle hormone-like effects without the risks associated with synthetic hormones. Research shows 40 to 80 milligrams of red clover isoflavones daily can reduce hot flash frequency and severity. For general use, steep 2 to 3 teaspoons of dried red clover blossoms in 1 cup boiling water for 15 minutes. Drink 1 to 3 cups daily. For menopause support, continue daily use for several months to experience full benefits. Identification is simple during flowering season. Red clover has the classic 3-part leaf pattern with a pale chevron marking on each leaflet. Pink-purple globe-shaped flower heads appear throughout summer. Plants grow in lawns, meadows, roadsides, and disturbed areas across North America. When women's health supplements vanish, red clover becomes gentle, effective support growing freely in fields everywhere. Let me bring this full circle. You just learned 9 weeds that your neighbors spray with poison while paying hundreds of dollars for pharmaceutical equivalents. Dandelion for liver and digestion. Plantain for wounds and bites. Yarrow for bleeding and fever. Stinging nettle for allergies and nutrition. Chickweed for skin and inflammation. Purslane for omega-3 salt and vitamins. Burdock for detoxification. Mullein for respiratory health. Red clover for hormonal support. These aren't primitive substitutes for real medicine. These are the original medicines that humans used successfully for thousands of years. Pharmaceutical companies didn't invent healing. They isolated compounds that plants already contained and sold them back to us at enormous markup. Here's your action plan starting tonight. Step 1. Learn to identify 3 weeds from this list this week. Walk your neighborhood, check your backyard. They're already there, waiting. Step 2. Harvest and dry small amounts of what you find. Store in glass jars away from light. Your personal pharmacy is building. Step 3. Practice preparation methods before you need them. Make a plantain poultice, brew dandelion tea. Create a yarrow tincture. Skills practiced in peace become life-saving knowledge in crisis. Step 4. Stop poisoning your medicine. If you use herbicides on your lawn, you're destroying a free pharmacy. Let the weeds grow. They're more valuable than grass. When pharmacy shelves empty, when supply chains collapse, when the medications you depend on become unavailable, these 9 weeds will still be growing. Free, abundant, waiting for someone who knows their value. That someone is now you. Your grandmother knew this, now you know it too. Subscribe for more survival knowledge that grows in your backyard.